want to make it
Got
clear for the viewers that I strongly disagree with
it.
I
Joe.
have just
He's,
despicable,
I'm gonna
horrible
have to
person.
call you a
Here we
white
go.
supremacist to get out of this. That's why everyone
That's the
calls you
only
white
way out. That's the only
supremacist.
way out, man.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it's
hard to it's hard to just say this guy is white supremacist views, but I
it's
did
Uh,
enjoy talking. That's hard to say. Oh,
just
I
so
like talking
just
about white supremacists.
Oh, welcome to another episode of the Lord Show, Ish Talk TV, live from the DMV, doing the how it's supposed to be. Hope you got some kush at the crib, some cat in the bed, and some cash in your pocket. What more can be said? I have a very funny comedian. Check him out. He's moving to New York. Max Silverstein, the Silver Surfer. How you doing, brother?
What's up? How you guys doing? Yeah, Maxwell. I've been a comedian here in the DMV. I'm a software engineer for my day job and got a show coming up in Brooklyn in February. If you guys follow me on Instagram at Maxwell Silverstein 2024, I'll change that to 2025. And then March 14th, I'm doing a Jew-ish show in the words of George Santos here in DC on March 14th.
Hey, shout out to that. I got a question about George. Maybe you can help me that, but later. But my next guest, he's the host of the Red Top Report with Joe Enders. Joe, what's up, player?
what is up? Always happy to be
Welcome
on.
back.
Doing a little ish talk tonight.
Yes.
I'm gonna call you ish instead of be more. I don't know. I just like it. It rolls off the tongue a little bit better. Works better with my incredibly grating, arrogant, and bombastic Chicago accent. If that's okay with you.
All right, and congratulations on your baby boy.
Thank you, thank you,
Welcome to
thank you.
fatherhood.
Oh, it's the
Uh,
best gift in the world.
yeah. Max. I hope you didn't. Are you married or something? Are you engaged? Do you have a what you working
I
with over there?
am out of living in wedlock. Is that the right? Is it the right term?
Cohabitating.
Yeah, cohabitating.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my partner and I have been together for 5 years now. So we're just living here in a one bedroom, and we're gonna move into Brooklyn next
Mm,
week.
the great
Cool, cool.
American story.
Yeah.
But let me ask you guys, what happens when an angry black man and a wealthy Jew and a bigot Catholic go into a bar?
I thought I was an angry white man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
We
being
have to figure that out.
What's
What's gonna
this?
happen?
Listen,
Yeah, I don't know if
I
you
am an angry white supremacist. I am not
Okay.
just a white supremacist. We need to
Okay,
get
yeah,
this
yeah,
out
yeah.
here for everybody to
you
look last.
graduated. Last time okay, you graduated.
Yeah,
Last time
he's
I
the
spoke
guy
with you.
who lit that guy on fire on the Metro bus in DC last
I think he's got deported. So
year.
Speaking of fire,
But also, did you assume that, like, I wasn't gonna correct you on the wealthy Jew thing because it was right, but I just don't know if you assumed it or I should have stopped you there.
I mean, your last name is Silverstein, so I think
Yes,
we could kind
yeah,
of
well,
you got so wealthy Jew. It's like the first
silver,
half and then the second half of
yeah,
your name,
silver,
wealthy
yeah,
Jew,
yeah. Oh,
See,
Silverstein.
I didn't put that together, but
that
he
is
did.
like a white supremacist definition of my name. Yeah. I think the name is like Silver Smith is what it would be in like German or wherever it comes from.
That sounds
Okay,
right.
we're going to get into that, hopefully. Do you guys know anybody out there in California? Like anybody you know that's affected?
I don't know anyone that's affected.
I have friends in San Diego, but as far as I know, I don't think the fires have made it out that way.
Yeah.
So I think everybody I know is in good shape.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people I don't like whose houses got burned down though. So, there's some
Like
co
a actor or something?
like an act of God. No, well, I mean plenty of those, but
Oh shit! You said act of God.
also my boy Mel Gibson, I mean like his house got burned down. So I guess I'm
Yeah,
not too
right.
happy about that, right?
Exactly. I think what what Joe's bringing up is that there's people that you can hate for both sides of the political spectrum can people someone that you hate's house probably got burnt down in the fire, whether you're a liberal or a conservative. You probably have someone that you hate, their house got burnt down. But a lot
That's
of good people lost their home.
That's true. And honestly, all jokes aside, all anti-Semitism, white supremacy aside, we can at least admit that anybody who lost their home, I'm praying for them, and I hope that they're able to rebuild. And
Sure. I have a friend that didn't tell me happy birthday, but he's in LA. He hasn't posted anything, so
happy
hope he's
birthday.
all right. But
Oh, damn. Have you
let's
checked in on him?
I haven't checked up on him.
I
He's a
Oh
guess
man,
is
yeah.
that
he didn't
the
check up on
equivalent
me.
of not
I didn't get a birthday text, so
he
he'll
didn't care that you were born, you don't care when
if
he dies.
yeah, I'm just like State Farm. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's get to maybe I should talk to him, reconnect, but let's get to
Yeah.
the Jimmy Carter, the Trump and Obama yapping it up, blah, 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 yak, yak, yak. It was a big deal on both sides. Like liberals were saying, like, how can you talk to the devil and all the other stuff? And Kamala's side eye. Like, what did you get from that? What do you think they were talking about? And was it a good look for America?
I
You don't
just think
go, yeah.
I mean, I just think it's interesting, like that they were talking at all. Like, I feel like, I mean, it's not just the liberal, like it's also like what Obama was saying about Trump, that like it's like you said all these things, like Obama, you said all these things about Trump, like he's evil, and then Trump said all these things about Obama too. Like honestly, from like both sides of it, like Trump started
He
the
was
whole
yeah.
birther thing, and he was like, I mean, Trump ran on like the whole thing of like, we're gonna change it up from Obama. Obama was so bad for this country. It's time to change. And it's like, well, if you thought Obama was that bad, like, why are you trying to like make a joke in his ear? And if Obama, if you thought Trump was that bad, like, why are you like talking to him now? So I think it felt weird for both sides. Like, I mean, definitely more recently, it's like, oh, I think we kind of forget like how fucked up Trump was to Obama a little bit. But I
Yes.
think just because Obama's kind of like gone after Trump more now with rhetoric of like, this is the devil, like this guy's evil.
Saying that this man has so many counts, so many charges, but then what
Yeah.
happened? All those charges got dropped.
No, he got sentenced. He got sentenced. He
Okay,
got
well,
34.
I'm sorry, he didn't get any jail time. Let's
Yeah,
just say
yeah.
that.
I mean, it's kind of hard to put the president of the United States in jail. I mean, what's going to happen? Is the Secret Service going to arrest him? Doubt it.
Sir, MSNBC told me Rachel Maddow said that he's going under the fucking jail.
Yeah, Rachel Maddow. Yeah.
I mean, what do you
I think
say
a
to
Rachel
that? And it's
Maddow
just
viewer wouldn't show up on the
look, everybody is blowing that whole thing way out of proportion. I think what was happening was I do find it interesting, and I don't know who chose to sit next to who. If it
Right.
was Trump that chose to sit next to Obama, or Obama who chose to sit next to Trump. But whoever chose to sit next to who obviously had something to say to that person. Something tells me that Obama wasn't particularly happy with Kamala being the choice of the
Mm.
people. I think that there's something along the lines of this is actually what I believe that they were talking about was Obama kind of wanted to sit. I think Obama wanted to sit by Trump to tell Trump and is just like, I didn't want you to win. I could have found somebody that would have beat you.
Mm.
I could have found somebody that would have beat you, but that guy, Joe Biden, his wife, Jill, they would not leave office. They would not compromise. So we were forced to go with Kamala. I just want to let you know that. And then Trump is just like, oh, I know. Wasn't she just terrible? And that's like the whispering in the ears. That's just the way I was like analyzing the body language, the social cues, how they were talking about it. I believe it was about the election because I know you guys know this, but Obama did have a role in saying that Biden should step down. Obama did have a role in saying we need to have an open primary, not just pick Kamala. That was his whole deal. And then what wound up happening is that the party did not side with Obama. So Obama probably wanted to go up to Trump and say something about that. He's like, just so
Mm.
you know, I'm better than that. I do better. My people win, you know. So I think that's all it was.
Yeah, that's a pretty good theory. Yeah. I mean, they didn't go with the yeah.
Because they were both laughing about it because it's over now. It doesn't matter anymore. Trump is president now. So
Hmm.
Yeah, nothing you can do.
I just felt bad for Kamala. I don't know. I still feel bad for him. But when it
Look,
comes
she's
to
got plenty of wine in her wine cellar to make
ooh,
herself feel better
uh-oh,
after this. So,
uh-oh,
and not
you
only
better
that,
thank a union
she's
member.
gonna have a house. She's gonna have a house all to herself when Doug Emhoff moves out and finalizes that divorce. It's gonna be.
Oh, bro,
No,
sir,
he's locked in.
He's
sir.
not
Hillary's
locked in. Nope. Nope.
locked in. Doug's locked in. That's what I'll. Hillary hasn't done anything yet. Doug's not. Can't leave either.
but what's locked in is Jill Biden. The way she
Yeah.
stuck by her man, the way she propped him up like Weekend at Bernie's for four
Woo.
years,
Yeah.
they knew that he everyone knew around Biden that he was fucked up. But Jill made sure she used his voice to talk and all other stuff. She used enough power, but everyone need a woman like Jill Biden. But let's get to Biden really quick. This man, how many times did this man try to be a president and failed? And once he got it, he was mentally not there. Imagine you finally get the girl of your dreams, and she now once you got it, she's all broken down. She has herpes, and she has bad credit, and she's still in love with her ex. That's how I feel about Joe Biden when he actually got what he wanted. The man couldn't talk. The man was following, wandering around. He pulled us out of Afghanistan all funny style, the Gaza situation. Um, what would you guys rate? Us go to the Democrat, our resident Democrat. Just to be clear, y'all, I voted for Jill Stein. Uh, but Max
In Virginia?
in Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. Okay. Oh, right, because you're in College Park. Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. So what would you,
Yeah, those Jill Stein votes were what? Yeah, keeping people up for a little too long.
huh?
The
What'd you say?
the Virginia, it took them hours to call it.
Oh,
That was
right.
a very crazy crazy race there. The I mean, I think he's gonna have. I mean, Jimmy Carter just passed away. I mean, history's been like pretty kind to him about like, oh, inflation wasn't that much his fault. Like he was kind of just dealing with something that was out of his control, which I think hopefully that's like what the history books is gonna will probably say about Joe's approach to inflation. Like I think his approach to inflation was pretty solid. Like I think the Inflation Reduction Act did a good job. I mean, I my that's my opinion. I mean, you probably have more data on this, Joe, but the I think overall he did his best to handle the economy, and I think he did mitigate a lot of the inflation that we had previously. And I feel like things are hopefully starting to come down. Inflation is starting to cool. Um, and then I think obviously it's not going to get Afghanistan is just not going to he's not going to be able to run away from that. I think that was a pretty big failure that he's never going to be able to brush off his record. Um, as far as like I think Israel Gaza is an interesting one. Like I feel like something that they tried to like put on him was that like Hamas's terrorist attack was like his fault, which I think is interesting. Like no one would have said that like not well, people did say that 9/11 was Bush's fault, but not for the same reason that they said that the Hamas attack was Joe Biden's fault. So I think that was interesting. I don't think they're gonna be able to pin that on him forever. Like I think what it comes down to is he's just gonna get blamed for continuing to prop up like money to Israel. And I think that's how history will remember him there is he just did not do anything about an ongoing like onslaught on civilians. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the Inflation Reduction Act is probably going to be his main takeaway that it helped with tax cuts, helped a little bit with like healthcare, helped a bit with climate change, did a lot for like the solar energy industry, wind industries. So I think that'll probably be his main takeaway. And the gaffes are not going to go away.
What about immigration? How's he
Immigration,
doing?
I think, is yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, I do think like Trump did pretty much shut down the immigration bill. Like when you look at it, like he does have a lot of sway in Congress, in my opinion. You're saying no, but I mean, he called up congressmen on like the eves of them signing bills.
His presidency was a national embarrassment. He kept going up there. He made a fool of himself, couldn't speak in complete sentences. The entire administrative state lied to the American public and gaslit them for 4 years, trying to tell them that what their eyes are literally looking at in real time is not reality.
No, that's a deep fake.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like everybody knew what was going on. Everybody was saying what was going on during the debates in the 2020 election. People are like, dude,
he had a bad night.
Yeah, what? No, I'm talking about in 2020. Like, well, all the way back then, we were like,
I popped
there's
out
something wrong with
debate.
this guy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay.
And then obviously the Afghanistan withdrawal, where you have AC-130 or C-130s taking off with Afghans hanging off of it and falling to their deaths. Like that, we didn't even have that in Saigon when we left Vietnam, and that's considered a national embarrassment, right? And by the way, I supported us getting out of Afghanistan as soon as possible. Could we have done it in a way that it wasn't on camera, where we looked like a bunch of like losers? Maybe, I don't know. Was there any way that could have been done right? But there's that. I mean, the Inflation Reduction Act, I don't think that's going to be remembered well because it didn't reduce inflation. So that's kind of like the only reason that anybody cared about it. Even if people maybe felt a bit of a reprieve, it actually didn't lower inflation. And I don't even know anybody who says they felt a reprieve after the Inflation Reduction Act was passed. And beyond that, like if you go ahead and ask ChatGPT, yes or no, did the Inflation Reduction Act reduce inflation? It'll tell you no. I just did it. So
I think the IRA I think it's hard with the economy of like, it takes time for things to get priced in. Like, I think Trump loves immediacy. He loves pricing things in immediately. When he tweets, the stock market moves. He loves that. But I think there is the economy is really written in like past tense.
You know what would have reduced inflation a ton that nobody ever thought about doing? The federal government buying up a bunch of Bitcoin reserves.
What?
Yep.
That would have been really bad for inflation.
Would have been absolutely
federal government saying we're just going to do Bitcoin instead.
It's so volatile.
I said buy up reserves. Again, like our economy is debt based. It's fiat. We all know all these things. However, when you buy up reserves of an appreciating asset, as opposed to a depreciating with your depreciating asset, you actually reduce inflation a bit. That's actually causes deflation. So, for example, this is like what caused the massive deflation that led to the Great Depression was gold, because we had gold and silver backed currency. It was bimetallism. Is one of the things that was introduced. So my point is like, if you want to reduce inflation, there needs to be some level of deflation. And when you put dollars into an alternative currency, that does cause deflation. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it would be good for Wall Street, because it probably wouldn't. I'm not saying it would be good for stocks or investments or anything like that. But that's not. I'm talking about the economy itself. Not wealthy Jews.
Yeah. I think that's where, the Wall Street, which is, I think you're using an anti-Semitic way of saying.
No. I was just poking a little fun at you. It's not all wealthy Jews. I know.
No, I think that's where but I do think that's where the Biden administration got tripped up, is when they like started to conflate Wall Street and the stock market with like
the actual economy,
everyday people.
The
stock market is fine. What's wrong with you?
Great.
Yeah, you see these egg prices, motherfucker?
GDP could go down in this country and people's lives could drastically improve.
Yeah,
like people don't understand macroeconomics. I'm a part of my degrees in economics, so that's why I was
there you go.
I wanted to say that a little bit. I was like, no, I know you sounds crazy. It would be awful. The stock market would go, yeah, hell yeah, it would. But guess what? Our currency would deflate and people's savings would actually increase in value a little bit. And sometimes it's good for an economy to recede. The perpetual growth is actually a major problem. It creates that debt bubble, and that debt bubble will eventually pop. And then we're in the depression of all depressions that could last up to 50, 60 years, as opposed to the Great Depression, which lasted 10. I mean, we're in serious danger.
It hasn't popped yet. I think
well, I know that.
I think the military has given us given us a lot.
That's our game.
A little breathing room by like, if we build more tanks.
Yeah.
You better use the dollar. You better use the dollar, loser.
Yeah, that's one of the
come for their money.
One of the biggest gains in the world.
No, and I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, that's the trajectory of the economy. And once we start losing our AAA credit rating, and once the threats of the military become, because eventually people can't make money, right? That's eventually where it gets. Eventually people just can't make money. And when people can't make money anymore, it basically says, well, we're just not going to use your dollar anymore. So,
Sir,
I think that Trump's.
I'm going to get this. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish up.
No, yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like the U.S. government buying up Bitcoin reserves, the same way, you could think of like Fort Knox, like doing gold reserves and stuff like that. It would be a good start to at least restructuring our dollar a little bit, because we're going to digitize the dollar. I think we all know that that's coming.
Sir,
So,
I'm going to get my brick coin.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get that popping. But right now, everyone is trying to get their dollars up. Once they see this new guy stepped in, he's kicking asses. He wants Greenland. He wants some canal. So everyone's trying to change face right now. It can be MSNBC, Joe and Mika kissing the ring. It can be the dude in Amazon. What's his name?
Bezos.
Bezos. It can be with the Elon. But guys, one of the biggest things I never thought I'll see this in my Black American life is a foreigner coming over, a brown foreigner at that. It wasn't it wasn't even a white European somewhere, but it was a brown foreigner telling white people that they are lazy. Woo!
We talk about Vivek,
Vivek.
our boy Vivek, our Vivek
Wee!
Ramaswamy.
The whole time,
yeah, that was wild.
Oh,
Black
man,
people
dude.
are watching this and say the whole time you guys say that Black people are lazy, but now you got Deepak Patel telling you guys that y'all ain't shit. Too. But and you got Trump siding with Elon on this.
I know
he wants more. So
he did. I didn't see it. I didn't even Google.
So I got these $5 worth of a 12 carton of eggs. I'm going to use this and egg all these MAGA supporters that was talking about Granddaddy Trump's going to deliver us immigration.
Gonna get rid of all the foreigners.
What happened?
This sounds like a question for me. I mean, like I told you earlier that I was skeptical.
Yeah, it was I mean, you knew he was on the side of wherever the money was the whole time. I mean, Trump's always gonna.
No, he's not. I think he's always the person that whoever has his last ear gets whoever's in his ear. But he always was against war, and everyone knows that war is money. But I'm sorry,
he was always against war. That's true.
Yeah, and Trump is an opportunist. He's looking at what's going to make his numbers look the best, in my opinion. It's not just about money; it's about his numbers in general, and that could be approval ratings as well. And the H1Bs are. He can play that off. He can spin it because he wants to keep two things. He wants to keep that popular legacy that he's kind of building with the tech industry right now, while simultaneously keeping his base appeased. And he thinks he can get away. And I sure as hell I'm not going to let him get away with it. I've said on record that I'm not a Trump supporter until he changes his opinion on the H1Bs. Just generally speaking, and only because, and by the way, Ish, like, that was not a jab at white people only. That's just the way that Twitter took it, because white guys were the angriest about it. That was about Americans. That was about all of us. And the way that I see this, it's just like, come on, guys. Come on, Trump. Like, what are you doing siding with this South African immigrant? Like who is this person, or this Indian immigrant? Like, you're really gonna let some dude who worships an elephant with 7 arms tell us about us being lazy? I'm sorry. Last I checked, our sewers are capped in this country, loser. Why don't you build your billion-dollar tech company in India, loser? Why don't you do that, Vivek? Do that before you come into our country and call us lazy and obsessed with mediocrity. It can be clipped, and you should clip it, and I hope you post it everywhere, because I mean every word that I'm saying right now. I'm serious.
Like India.
I'll come for all for 3 billion of them. if they want to play that game with me. You don't come at me and my family, my fellow countrymen, my black countrymen, by the way. My Jewish countrymen. You came for all of those countrymen. You came for all of those countrymen. He called all of us lazy.
Yeah, no, he did. I think he did. But I think the reality is that, like, I mean, the reason he's saying that is because the H1B, like, the H1B people can come here and, like, they're just gonna be worked to the bone. I mean, I kind of took Bernie's point on this of like these people are treated like indentured servants. Like, I worked at Amazon, and it's like I was looking at
treated is not even accurate. Yeah. They literally are indentured servants. And they work for pay, and if they don't get paid, they're deported, or if they don't do what they're told, they're deported back to their country, because the H1B itself is conditional on employment. And as I was saying before, India is such a disgusting, smelly, and terrible place that they will literally be slaves before they get sent back there.
Yep.
And it's indentured servitude. It's Indian slavery. We're basically, it's like, we might as well be the Brit. Why don't we just go take it over and make them do all our tech support work for us? What the heck? It's the same thing. How's it any different than what the British Empire did?
True.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that just to get the historical context in there, India is a third world country because of colonization of years.
No. They were a third world country before colonization, buddy. It didn't smell any better there before the British got there.
Let's not go over this.
Do you not want to talk about
Put me out of this.
Okay. I'm not going to make you get a bad clip that's going to ruin your life. I'm sorry. I'll scale.
We're talking about the smell now of India. That's wait.
No. This is based in facts. 300,000 people a year die of diarrhea.
I didn't know that.
Yes, 300,000 people a year die of diarrhea. That's stinky.
Okay. But Joe, this is where it's at. Those same people are coming over here,
taking devastation of
taking jobs
into like a character. It sounds like a character judgment. You're taking.
I could do Israel if you want.
Let's.
I'm just messing with you. I won't.
Well, honestly, I'd rather.
No, Israel doesn't. Israel is not smelly. Israel's not smelly. I promise you. I don't think Israel.
No, this feels like a race.
Israel is not. No, it's not smelly. I will say one thing. I mean, the Jews.
I don't know if it smells, but I don't know if it smells, but it's segregated.
It is.
You're taking this into like, yes, it is segregated. You're taking this into like a character judgment of the Indians. I don't think that.
Well, no. They made it a character judgment when they came at all of my fellow countrymen.
That's like there's a billion Indians.
A billion Indians sucker punched me in the face, and I'm giving them a fat uppercut in a response. They called us lazy and mediocre.
If Biden called, if it was Vivek Ramaswamy, this is one dude. He lives in the U.S. If Biden calls another country,
did you see the Indians responding though? Like, all of the Indians backed him up on this.
Back to
there was no Indians. Like for example, like I don't hate all Indians. Like Vish Burra is a friend of mine. Vish Burra is great. He works with Matt Gaetz. Like there's not. I'm not saying all Indians are this way, but I'm saying like you sucker punched me, so I can play that game and play it better than you can. As a matter of fact, as one of the top 3 global innovators in the world, I get to say that. It's us, it's Switzerland, it's Sweden, Britain's number 4. Let's go. Why don't we draw from those talent pools? Why do we have to draw from big old stinky India?
Why is that?
All right, let's pivot.
But when it comes back to Elon, 40% of people at Tesla are using those visas. And at the same time, your boy Trump wants to cut the Department of Education. How the fuck we supposed to get our education on and get these tech jobs? And you want Deepak to come over. So I'm asking you, Joe, how can you support, or what do you think he's going to do?
I don't. I told you I don't support Trump until he changes his opinion on H1Bs. I am firmly of the understanding, because I know the numbers. Do you know that only 16% of American population growth can be given to new Americans being born from American citizens? 74% of new births in this country are foreigners. Absolutely. 74% of new births in America are the children of foreigners. You want me to post it in the chat for you?
It can't be. Hold on. Okay, then that goes into Okay,
I'm
that
not
goes
going to
in.
be, I'm not going to, my family, my culture, my heritage, my way of life is not going to be replaced by Indians. It's not going to be replaced by Latin Americans. It's not going to be replaced by Jews. It's not going to be replaced by anybody. And Black Americans, I suggest that you get behind that idea too, because when only 16% of the new births in this country are of people that have that biological connection to this heritage, if that goes away, America is going to become a hodgepodge of all the nations that we funneled people into here from. That's what it's going to turn into.
Well,
Cultures don't just, Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't just become an American by setting foot on American soil. His parents, I should say.
Well,
And even in the first generation, does his family only eat American food? Does he only know English? Like, there's things. Is he somehow connected to that story of the pioneers coming across the country like my family was when they came here before the Civil War? Is there any personal connection to that?
I
No,
mean, you're
it
talking
all
about the
just has to be a
pioneers.
general interest. It can only be a general interest for somebody like him. It can never be a true part of your story.
mm,
And that's what I mean by like funneling the immigrants in. It's never going to be the same.
Are we switching topics to like the great replacement theory right now? Or
It's not a theory. I mean, like I said, when one side brags about it and says America's going to be brown very soon, not from black people, by the way. Black people aren't the ones making America brown. It's immigrants making America brown. I think we can all agree on that one. So they want America to be brown by 2050. Is that not bragging about replacement? What do you call that?
I would say that on the black side, when it comes to social media, they are actually trying to separate themselves from Africans. So there's this thing going on in America where the black people are sort of taking pride in their lineage and really against uh immigrants. Maybe it's an age thing, but when it comes to, let me ask you, Max, do you think America is like being American is a mindset or it's
I mean,
lineage?
I think it's a 500-year-old country that's like built on immigrants. Like the whole thing is people who came over here, kicked a bunch of Native Americans out, and then founded this place like 500 years ago. So I think 500 years is not like even like, especially, I mean, this
It's
is not
still a
really fair.
baby, still a baby,
Anthropologically, 500 years is not a very long time at
right?
all. So I think even within like the history of the human race, 500 years is not a long time. So I think I mean personally, I would say that immigration has been like a culture of this country for a very long time. Like I think most foods, most like cultures here, like a lot of the American culture, I think if you look back historically, take a lens, it's going to come from
Great. When did your family come here?
1900s, late
1800s.
1890s,
Okay. I mean,
something
like,
like
so,
that.
so,
Like,
so,
is there
so,
a
so, so
length of
I
time?
imagine that I understand where the genesis of this belief came from. I have a headstone that reads the born in 1830 on one of my ancestors' things. So there's a little bit more of the American story that's connected to my family than it even is to yours. And again, Jewish culture is extremely welcoming to the immigrant because they completely misread the Old Testaments on that sort of thing. So that kind of morphed into later on when when people became secular and did all those things, it turned into a very compassionate view towards immigrants and immigration, especially because a lot of them had immigrated here themselves. Let me tell you one thing. The Anglo-Saxons that came to this country, they weren't immigrants. They weren't coming to seek citizenship with the Iroquois Confederacy when they arrived in this country. They came seeking to conquer and make their own country, and they
So is
did.
that not
And they said,
Vivek Ramaswamy is he's seeking to conquer the United States.
okay, and then so you're
isn't that a
should I let
mindset?
them?
Isn't that a
Should I let
mindset?
them?
So
Isn't
you're
that a
actually more
mindset?
aligned right now with the Native American culture of
Of
like we
course I
can't
am.
let anyone come in.
Of course
And
I
so
am. Like I
does
said,
that
I don't
make you
want to end
like
up like the
I think it's
Native
a weird
Americans. I'm
argument.
not going to be stupid like that. I'm not going to be stupid like that and a bunch and let millions of people from across the sea come to my land and take it over when they clearly have
But
advanced
okay,
technology. I don't want to be dumb like that. I don't want to let that happen to my country.
but
I
we're
mean,
talking about
why does
capitalism,
that
right?
sounds
We're talking about
that sounds crazy.
capitalism, and it's all
I'm not a
about making it.
capitalist.
But that's what America is, right?
No.
It's not.
America is a country, and this is what the founders said. don't get all mad at me. This is what they said. The founders said that this country was founded for free white men of good character.
Yes.
And it was for them and for what? What do they say? For their progeny, meaning their children. That's what this country was founded for. It wasn't founded to be an economic zone. It wasn't founded to have all religions, Jews and Muslims and everybody else living here. Each state was founded to be a specific religion safe haven in the British Empire for them to found their own colony.
George Washington
and be
wasn't
governed
a
by
Catholic.
their religions. He was not, but he was friends with a Catholic priest.
So he was open. He was open.
Like,
and Maryland was a state founded for Catholics fleeing Great Britain while the Anglican Church was persecuting them. So that's what Maryland was. It was founded by Lord Baltimore, who was a Catholic. So Catholics are a part of the American story. We were given an entire state to settle, just like the Quakers were given Pennsylvania,
right? Of religion,
not of religion, of denomination. Okay. Like I said, this is my point. Like,
where's your attachment to this idea that like there should be like an ethno country? Like essentially what you're applying is.
I'm just telling you what America is. I'm just telling you what America is. I'm not even saying it should be that way necessarily. I'm telling you that that's what America is.
But you're saying we need to defend it.
Yeah.
Well, we need to well, yes.
Well,
of course we need to defend America. Why do Jews need to defend the Jewishness of Israel? Oh, yeah, exactly. Same reason. The exact same reason.
You think that there's some kind of like genocide that's going to happen? No, I was saying they don't need to defend it, but you think that there is genocide of Americans that's going to happen.
So you'd be okay with Israel opening up its borders to Arab immigration?
I think that would probably be okay. I mean, I think there's also a more recent.
I mean, that's fine, but like,
I think you're the first Jewish person I heard to say that.
Yeah, I think I've never heard a Jewish person say that.
There's a more recent.
But, that's good though. That's good.
But you, in your opinion, there's some kind of like white American genocide that you feel that.
I didn't say there's a genocide. I said there's a replacement. A genocide would mean that there's people trying to actively exterminate us. Kind of like Hamas believes that they should actively exterminate Jews. Which, hey, you guys, and again, I don't care about Israel really, to be honest with you. Like, you guys can, you and Hamas can blow each other to smithereens, and America would be a better place. And I don't mean that to be rude. I don't mean anything by that. I just don't care. Like, I want us out of that. So
just no arms to no weapons.
Yeah, I just don't want to pay for. I don't want to deal with that anymore. But my general point with that is you don't let in people in mass amounts like the Native Americans. They were a little bit more forced to, I would say, because we did have more advanced.
They were a little bit forced,
but they were invited. No, they were invited. They were invited to stay. They were given kind of a safe haven and things like that. You don't do that. That has never worked ever. It's never worked. You don't let people with more advanced technology than you, or people with less advanced technology than you, come in and outbirth you either. That's even dumber.
Wait, is there a time in history where you think that happened, that like, oh, you let immigrants in and then they're boom?
But then boom, what?
The country dissolved.
Oh yeah, the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire let in like an entire nomad group of people, the Goths, into their territory and gave them safe haven and made a deal with them. And that dude wound up like causing all sorts of problems within the borders. And then his people wound up sacking Rome while running from Attila the Hun.
Let me move on a little bit.
The only cause. Yeah, we can switch topics.
Let me move on a little bit. Let me move on a little bit.
Isn't that what we're here for? The divisive issues?
But
this is Ish Talk your shit.
It touches on more sensitive topics that I mean, I think it's hard. Like, I don't want to I think there are racist ideas within this. I don't think you are a racist person, but I think there are racist ideas
he's a suspected white supremacist. That's what he is.
Yeah,
they'll write that about.
You started the podcast. You said I'm an angry white supremacist, and then
that was a joke.
I should have just been like, oh yeah, this is what we're getting.
All right, so
you're a wealthy Jew. I'm an angry white supremacist. Can't we all get along?
Yeah.
So I guess what happens when we went in the bar? We're figuring out what happened at the bar right now. All right. So back to the Elon and the Vivek. And I want to get to the baby making. White people are the birth rates. What's up? the
Business
birth
Black
rates are
people,
kind of
black
low.
people, and white people.
No, but you guys are it's way more of you guys. But back to what Vivek was saying, basically it's about values and how we don't uh we don't really have that immigrant mindset of working hard. We just like to sit on the couch and watch Boy Meets World. But
I mean,
let's
that's
get
what I do all day. What about you?
oh, no, I watch Martin. It's a little
I
different.
like Martin. I used to watch
Uh,
Martin.
so do you guys think it's like when it comes to American values? Do you think that's part of the problem with the reason why America is failing when it comes to that type of education, technology, STEM? Max, what you say?
I mean, I think it's like, why is America, the question is, why is America failing? Is it due to uh
Oh,
people just
if you don't think America's failing,
yeah, I mean, I think America overall is doing pretty well, and I don't think it comes down to like people being lazy. I mean, I think people can't afford a lot of things, but I think there's also I mean, I think Gen Z does have a bit of a nihilist perspective
mm,
overall. Like
mm,
people in my generation are way more nihilist of like, well, I'm not going to be able to afford this anyway. So like, why should I work so hard for a company that I think you see your parents like spend 50, 60 years working for a company. You're like, oh, they're going to be able to retire one day or, and then all of a sudden they're hit with some crazy health expense. And you see that story happen. You can only see that happen so many times before you're like, why should I work like countless hours for like a company that doesn't really care about me? And I think I would say it's more nihilism than it is like people being lazy. I think the words are interchangeable, but I would just label it as
I just have a question. So do you think that, adding, 50 artificially supplementing your population with 50 million people that totally increases the demand for houses all across the nation, driving them up to $400,000, and then in addition to all of that, also having these people all take jobs in specific sectors like STEM that you might have a degree in, which, by the way, Americans score higher by an entire standard deviation than Indians do on the college graduates
hmm.
on their testing. So, I mean,
on the testing in America, you're
on the
saying.
no, and on just general STEM testing for college graduates in India, in
Oh,
the United States of America, in the United States, it's an average of an entire standard deviation higher than it is with the Indian graduates, and we're higher than Chinese graduates and Russian graduates as well. So, I mean, America actually does have people. The problem is that if you look at some of the hiring practices, given that a lot of these Jewish company owners, a lot of these Anglo elite company owners were involved in this DEI nonsense that went on for so many
mm,
years. So if you actually
that's
look at
yeah.
you actually look at the statistics here, of all the jobs created by Fortune or S&P 100 companies, only 6% went to white males, which also just so happened to coincide with the largest demographic of United States STEM graduates. So they're not hiring them because they're white and they want to meet their DEI standards. And they could also, in addition to that, bring in an Indian, which is what 70% of all of those H1Bs were. All of those H1Bs were, many of which were student visas that turned into H1Bs that aren't counted towards that 85,000 number. We're looking at numbers around, almost a million. Almost a million of these H1Bs go out. These people come in, they get paid an average of $30,000 less than the average American worker in these STEM fields. And then in addition to that, there's the indentured servitude aspect that we brought up earlier, where the companies can strong arm them to do everything that they say, work longer hours, work for less pay, and all of that put together is why there's this giant demand. American STEM graduates are working as baristas right now.
Mm.
You can go on there. There's plenty of anecdotal stories that you can go look up yourselves of where this is happening, because tech companies won't hire them because they want H1Bs. They want that brown gold, that brown stinky gold from India.
Jesus
They don't
Christ.
want anybody. They
And
don't want anybody.
imagine if you and then a lot of Americans are training their replacement, and their replacement
Yep.
are these visa people.
Yep.
Even on the low end, like low income people, they're getting replaced these DoorDash drivers. Like the DoorDash
Yep.
jobs are getting taken away. But Elon, people were going at Elon. They were going off on him, calling him a South African and all this other shit on social media. And he had a lot of them deplatformed. That
Yep.
he had them take away their blue checks or whatever the fuck it's called. But
Yep. You
we
had
have to.
conservative OG. You had Project Groiper. Project Groiper got it the worst of
That
anybody.
sounds
So
like a
Project.
porn name.
So
That's like the
But
whole white supremacist thing, right?
it's not.
Groy.
No. I mean, their
Ain't no
leader's Mexican, so I doubt it.
The
that's
alt-right
But well,
internet
that I mean, yeah,
trolls.
that's what people write. But like people say, I'm a white nationalist too. I'm not. I'm cool with black people being in America. They're here.
I'm cool with black people being the man.
No,
I'm cool
that's
with them.
that is
I'm
I
cool with
got
them
I
cleaning
got
up my
four
food.
black tires on my car. Dang it! I'm not a racist. My
I'm cool with
Alright,
one
TV's in
pumping my
color, buddy.
gas. I watch
Um,
Martin, but
insane.
what do you guys think about this new era of? I think there will be more, not cancellation, censorship. What do you guys think about what's happening with banning TikTok? You think it's actually going to happen? And what if I was in Florida, I will be clutching my balls about Pornhub. But do you guys actually think that TikTok is going to be banned?
Yeah,
no.
it's definitely gonna be banned.
Yes, you say no.
Oh, I don't know about in Florida, but I don't think it'll be banned nationwide.
Okay,
I think that Trump has made a pretty firm stance on keeping TikTok. All that he asks is that it be completely administered by an American company, as or an American infrastructure in the United States that the United States is allowed to have contact with to make sure that they're not doing the will of the Chinese Communist Party. And again, I think that a lot of young people use TikTok. I think that as long as it's out of China's hands, that it's not going to be used to negatively influence the American public. It's just a social media platform. Like, why are we getting rid of this? And
because
again,
people.
Trump agrees with me. I don't think that that'll happen. I think
Yeah, I think it'll probably be sold. You can't.
yeah,
It is an overreach of the. It feels like a little bit of an overreach of the U.S. government to totally shut it down. They're erasing
yeah.
like billions of dollars of value just because the government said so. So I think it'll exist in a different state, and it might be a more conservative one too. It seems like the main offer was like Kevin O'Leary
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
whole Trump's friends. So I think that's definitely a possibility. I think, yeah, but I think it's going to be very different if it does stay in the United States. TikTok as it is will definitely be banned.
yeah.
Yeah, if it stays as a, I will agree with you on that. Like if it is this stays Chinese or it goes away, it will go away. I think that that's probably right. There's been instances of them trying to promote
Blue Sky.
degeneracy to young degeneracy to
Oh,
young
oh.
American children on there, like drug use and pornography and things like that. TikTok is targeted, like China's using it as a weapon to hurt
You
our
believe
youth.
that?
Yeah, I do. There's actually been a whole investigation that it was either the Wall Street Journal or the Federalist. I can't. No, it wasn't the Federalist. The Washington Times, maybe Washington Times or the or well, I think it was the Wall Street Journal that actually proved that they were using their algorithm to target kids in the United States with pornography and drug use and murder.
You think that's true, Max?
I mean, I would wonder about intent there. Like if I wouldn't be so I think the algorithm just does whatever keeps you on the app for the longest amount of time. So I think I mean that's how people fall down internet rabbit holes. Like you're just gonna keep getting
Well,
radicalized by something. So I
what
think you click on something that want to keep your eyes on the screen. So yeah, kids like porn. Like that's gonna keep their eyes on the screen. So
isn't that
but
part of
I don't
good.
well I don't know if China's gonna I have no like I think it would be impossible for anyone to know that China was doing it on purpose, but I think you could probably you could definitely make the extrapolation that China was doing it on purpose. I feel like there's very little things that
And
you could be surprised about with the Chinese government, but
Yeah, I agree
I
with that.
think there's no way you could know really any of these things. Maybe if you did like a blind study between US TikTok accounts versus like maybe not something not in the West that they don't give a shit about destabilizing the country.
uh
Find TikTok accounts there. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I think it doesn't seem to be happening at that large of a scale, but I also don't. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Well,
and
if you
I'll say that too, by the way. Let me say that like they say that they were targeting children with it, whether it was on purpose or because they just that keeps kids' eyes on the content more and gets them more money. I don't know. I don't know the specific motive behind it. I should clarify. But I do. All I know is that it was happening.
that censure, they trying to. I gotta watch my big booty Latinas, man, on my Pornhub, man.
No, we got to get
My
rid of
my
that.
rights is gonna.
We got to
I,
make you a. We got to make you a better man. We need to get rid of the
I
porn.
yeah, yeah. So let's
We need
get
to
to
get
that.
rid of that
What?
pornography site that's owned by a rabbi. It's got to go.
Oh, that's
Is
true.
that you think Pornhub is
That's
owned by a
true.
rabbi?
It,
It
it
sure is.
is. It is.
Yep.
It is.
See, this is the whole white supremacy thing. You're
I
trying to
just said it to get
censor.
under. I just said it to get under your skin. It is true, but I did say it to get under your skin. I'm just messing with you.
Let's talk about family values and Western women and Pornhub. But Joe, can you tell people why porn is bad? What does it
Sure.
do?
Well, I mean, what we've found over a long period of time with many studies is that men who watch pornography are a little less virile. They're less willing to pursue women. They're less willing to be involved in long-term relationships. We've also seen that they harm long-term relationships. We've also seen that just generally all throughout human history, the use of naked, of naked women has been used, for example, to recruit men to get involved in the French Revolution. They would use naked women. It's always a form of political control. I highly recommend that
Oh,
everybody reads a book called Libido Dominandi by Dr. E. Michael Jones, famous anti-Semite. Max, you'd love him. What you'd find is that what you do with pornography is you direct people to the pornography, and then you get a cause associated with being a part of that pornography. In this case, it's political apathy and ignorance to what's going on in the world. They do similar things with sports, the bread and circuses type deal. All of these things are designed to control you, to keep you out of the loop, to keep you from getting involved and caring about the things that matter, and that includes things like your family.
You
Um,
don't watch sports?
no, I look like somebody that watches sports,
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
don't I?
So as part of the app, is that not a sports hat? What
No,
hat
that's
is?
that's Bigfoot, dog.
Okay.
what team was that?
The screaming Sasquatches.
The
No,
Michigan Sasquatches.
no,
What?
yeah, I used to watch some hockey back in the day and a little bit of because it's white, right? That's why I watched it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
guys hit
Yeah,
this black thing? Yeah, got it.
yeah. No, there's no black people. That's why
There's
I
more
watch it. No, I'm kidding.
culture,
I'm kidding.
American culture.
American culture. It's actually Canadian, but you get my drift. You get my drift. I'm just
Well,
joking.
yeah, exactly. It's an immigrant brought it into America, and it was
No, 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 no. As you know, very soon,
Oh.
very soon, Canada will be the great 51st state of the United
so
States,
it won't even
actually.
be a
So
non-American.
hockey's going to be as American as apple
Is
pie
that not
quite
going to
soon.
create like 30? How many people live in Canada? That isn't that going to create like a whole new culture? I assume you're against.
Oh.
I assume you're
Oh.
against bringing Canada and the.
Why would I do that? It would make America 69% white again.
Okay, see, that's very inconsistent. That would be very inconsistent. So I don't
No,
know.
I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but it's a fun idea. I actually would want to make something like Quebec
That's 40 million
Oh,
immigrants.
wow.
a
Wow.
territory.
They speak a
I
different
actually would
language.
make Canada a territory so they didn't have
Quebec doesn't even speak.
voting rights, to be honest with you. We make them an autonomous territory, Quebec, and then we'll make this one a governed territory, the rest of Canada, and we'll bring those other provinces into the fold, and we'll think about the more conservative ones maybe having the right to vote and becoming real states down
Yeah,
the
of
line.
course.
Yep. So that's the goal. That's the dream.
Well, that's Trump's goal, but we got 5 minutes
No,
left.
Trump
But
wants all of Canada.
This is
I agree.
emotional.
Like we don't want all of them. So
you don't want Toronto.
there's
You
a
definitely don't want Toronto.
lot of Indians there. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm just kidding.
we
Why do you always lean back like I said the most despicable and disgusting thing in the world? It's
Well, you
just
did. You've said a lot of
joke.
despicable
It's
things.
a
right.
joke.
And
A lot of
we're
despicable
just
things
getting
weren't.
started. We're just getting
I
started.
thought you were a comedian.
It's
I'm
the
funnier than you
Bilderbergs.
this episode.
It's the Rockefellers.
Yeah,
It's the Bilderbergs. Let's get to. We got 5 minutes left.
We can
But
joke about
moving forward,
anything. We can
I feel
joke
like
about
Democrats.
that's because
anything.
I feel I've got to walk a tightrope with the. I mean, you're saying you've said a ton of despicable things that I just don't have.
Despicable.
Which
I
one
just
is your
haven't done the
favorite?
research. I got to do more research on just the data of
No,
like
but which one's your favorite?
how to break.
See, why? Like, should I? Should I do stand up?
I think
Let's
the
be
one
real
that's
here.
gonna
Let's be
no,
real
please
here.
don't. I think the one that's gonna get me in the most trouble is Stinky Indians, and that's the one
Stinky
that I
Indians.
think I
Okay.
also take the biggest issue with. I think
Well, I've known many non-stinky Indians
painting,
too.
yeah,
All right,
they're
all right, white guys.
but-
Hold on.
in a
So
broad brush.
let me ask you. So
White guys.
moving forward,
Are you sure about that? I
Democrats.
think there's only one white guy here.
now we're
the hits just keep coming.
I'm sorry. I gotta take a break. I gotta take a break.
So
I don't mean, dude. I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be.
it's hard
funny.
to,
We
but
have
it's
a
hard to know.
comedian
It's
on.
hard to know for me right now. That's what I'm
Oh,
trying
is
to
it because I'm
figure out.
white? Is that why?
Yeah,
I know
so-
you Jews
no,
get a
it's-
little sensitive to white guys being funny. So
So how do you feel about what Whitney did during the award show? You think she was going off too much?
Whitney Cummings?
Yeah, didn't she do the award show?
No, you know Joe doesn't watch award shows for
No,
sure.
I'm
That's
asking
like-
you.
that's
I'm asking
porn.
you. I'm asking you.
I don't know what she did.
Like she was just speaking like she was just going off like Ricky Gervais. Like
who is this?
like you accept
She's
that
a
type of
comedian.
comedy, right?
No, I just don't know who this is.
You would like her because she's been talking about trans people in a negative way.
No way. She sounds awesome.
She's,
All right, so all right.
is that what she did at the award show?
I don't know what.
No,
happened,
she
but
didn't
I don't
say
know what
anything
this
about
is. What is
trans,
this even?
but
What is the award show? What is?
was it the Grammys or something like that? Some sort of, but she was just going off on the actors,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
you
Like
know,
just roasting them?
roasting them, but with some
Okay.
mixed in with some
Was it
Jeffrey
like a
Epstein
Ricky,
type
like
stuff.
like a Ricky Gervais type
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
That sounds
so
funny.
she let her balls hang. So
I'm not against it. I'm not. You can go roast.
Okay,
Okay.
that was
All right.
funny.
so Max, Democrats moving forward, midterms and beyond, what can they do better? Or let me ask you the most important question: what do they need to stop doing for them to get those votes back? Because allegedly, Kamala lost. Like she could have. How many votes she could have had? But a lot of people sat on the couch. But what do you think that the Democrats need to do better?
I mean, I think the main thing that I was talking to one person who was like a Jill Stein voter in Virginia, and I think the main thing that kind of scared people was when Biden started like the misinformation department or whatever. So I think free speech is kind of what radicalized a lot of people in my generation to like, all right, Trump is like free speech, and that's what took Joe Rogan in. That's what took in is this idea that like conservatives are pro free speech, which I think is insane. Like the ACLU is a very liberal value organization that's like the biggest free speech organization in America.
Yeah, and like the ADL too. They're really for free speech.
They are not free speech.
Exactly, and that's
But-
a left-wing group.
Is it?
Yeah, Jonathan Greenblatt is a leftist.
Moving
Like he's hostile to Christianity.
I want to make
Yeah.
it clear for the viewers that I strongly disagree with Joe.
Just
he's-
despicable,
I'm
horrible.
gonna have to
person.
call you
Here
a
we
white
go.
supremacist to get out of this. That's why everyone.
That's the
calls you
only
white
way out. That's the only way out, man.
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard to just say this guy has white supremacist views, but I did enjoy talking. It's hard to say. Oh, I like talking to white supremacists.
All right,
Yeah,
Max.
I mean, look, white
Sorry, I was gonna
supremacists
say
love going
about
on
the-
black guys' podcasts. By the way,
Yeah.
it's like our favorite pastime.
Yeah, that is a big white. the Dems, yeah, it just comes down to I think the free speech stuff is big, and then I think talking down to people is big. Like they're like, oh, you just don't understand. You like this is gonna be good for you, but we don't need to explain it. Or like I think just not having patience with people and being like, like you're an idiot for liking Trump. Like he's so horrible. I think you really got to I think they need to do listening set. Like, I don't know what the fuck they've been doing, honestly. Like, they've clearly just not been in communities and they're not talking to people or listening to people. Like, is my impression of like the fact that 2016 happened and then Trump won again in 2024, and the fact that it was as close as it was in 2020 when when there was a pandemic, that there was no vaccine and there's a pandemic going on, and like the election is that close. Like, that's insane. Like, it should have been like, this guy is mishandling a pandemic. Like, they had everything on their side to win the election. And then, yeah, I mean, I think it really came down to like, they're just going to take the wrong things out of it every time. Like, I think they're just going to be like, we're not going to put up a woman again. And it's like, well, I think if they put up
I think so too, yeah.
like, at least you would have won Michigan probably, you know, like they were scared to put up Gretchen Whitmer as the VP. Maybe if they put her up as VP, you win Michigan, you know, maybe Joe's like, well, you know, that's my governor. Maybe she's not that bad.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, she is white, but
yeah. So you'd have that, but so is Tim Walz. And Tim Walz.
Yeah, but isn't he like practically a gay guy in like mannerism and way of communicating? So it's like when you're like gay, it's kind of like it's like you know you were like a white guy, and then you started getting all like gay and stuff, and then you kind of just like, it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we can claim you anymore. You're not invited to the mayonnaise sandwich.
That's not true, buddy. Sir. That's not true. That's not true. So
there is some truth to that. There is some truth of,
all right, Max.
Stealing black women's mannerisms. There is some truth to that.
Yeah.
Well, oh no, we definitely only the cool ones though, like the N-word, for example. They definitely stole that one from us, and we kind of want it back. So
you guys been wanting that word back.
The look of absolute Ish. Did you see like the look of horror on his face?
Max, so let me ask you.
Let it pass me by.
Do you think the Democrats need to let go of certain culture war stuff, such as the gay or trans rights speaking up?
So. I think those things are just distractions for like everybody. Like, you talk to I don't think, my very strong opinion is that like women's high school swimming is not a national issue that everyone needs to be talking about, and that's not gonna like determine whether or not people sit home at the poll, like stay home for the polls. Like, I think people are, if that's the message they take out of it, that's
right.
Very clearly people felt that this election was about the economy. I think that's like every time it's like I think the polling is always like the number one issue is the economy. Like, every time people are like, all I care about is that I'm doing fine. Like, there are people like Joe who are like, I care about, you know, like, let's keep the culture pure and like, let's.
Did I say that?
No. Well,
you did say that.
No, I didn't quite say that. I didn't say pure. I said keep it connected to its founding. I mean, that's the whole point.
You said keep it white.
Well, I mean, if we want to go with that, like, I'm fine with that. Like I've already been crucified in the media, so it's like whatever. But like let's just be clear here. Let's just be clear here. The founders said that this was white. The founders would have wanted this country to remain white. That's what I said.
It's a longer discussion to talk about why I don't think the founders' opinions on everything matter. I think they have very good legal opinions. I think they're very good at drafting documents, but I don't think their cultural opinions are.
No, I agree with you. Like, that whole democracy thing, like, that's really stupid. We should get rid of that. And
that was not the one. That was the one
that was like the one that like we need to get rid of, and maybe like that freedom of religion thing. Like, I mean, they were definitely wrong about a few things. I think we can both agree on that.
See, you're picking and choosing. I think.
I mean, you were too.
I was picking and choosing culturally. I think we can keep the core of the document.
Oh. So you know, you, a Jewish person who immigrated here in the 1900s, has something to say about how this country's culture should be. I see. Gotcha.
Guys, it was a great show.
No, don't end it on that note.
I can answer your question about the Dems. I think the Dems need to. I think they need. I think they just need to worry about the economy. And I think that's the biggest issue of just like somehow it's like the existence culturally, especially in the Northeast, of someone who is a like socially liberal, fiscally conservative, and like people don't really question that a lot. Like that's like an idea of like this person who is socially liberal, fiscally conservative. And it's like, oh yeah, that's what I'm socially liberal, fiscally conservative. And I think the Dems need to explain why being like fiscally liberal can be a very good policy for especially working class Americans. So
But
I think,
but sir, they were
I haven't given my opinion on this yet.
well. Let me say this.
Finish up your thing first, but just make sure you give me a go before you end it.
They said they tried to get the Liz Cheney, right? And a couple years ago, Schumer said, for every Dem we lost, we will get 3. I forgot what he said, but we'll get a whole lot of Republicans. That's what they were trying to do. And you can't try to get some new people and your base is just rotting. But go ahead.
You want me to go? Am I good? All right. So this is basically the entire thrust. And this is my serious argument here. To hear somebody of Jewish heritage who came here in the 1900s, to hear people of, non-Western heritage, America's a Western country, from India, from South Africa, all this, like all these nonsensical places from across the world, Latin America, they have no right to come in here and tell us how American culture needs to be, frankly. This country was built by heritage Hispanics, heritage Blacks, and heritage whites. Those are the people that came here and made this country work and made this country's culture from the ground up. And we will not, the audacity that people think that they can come in and make our culture and or that we have to justify in some way not wanting to lose our hegemony over this country is insane. Imagine if 10 million whites just showed up in Japan and said, yeah, the samurai were brutal and they sucked. Bushido was awful. They did all these terrible things. They were horrible to Catholics. They persecuted them. We need to get rid of all of that stuff. And you know what we need to do? We need to make Japan more white and more Christian. That's what we need to do. That's the equivalent of what people of other religions and other ethnicities coming into this country are doing to us. It's bull. And I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to listen to it. I don't have to justify to you. You can call me a white supremacist. You can call me a nationalist. You can call me a bigot, nativist, whatever you want. I do not have to justify wanting to preserve my culture when only 16% of the new birth rates in this country are of my people, which are the heritages, the heritage Hispanics, the heritage whites, and the heritage Blacks. Those are the people that have been in this country from the beginning. They're the ones that formed this culture, that made it unique, the same way the Japanese made Japan unique, the same way the English made England unique, and the Scottish made Scotland unique. That's who we are. There's no reason for us to have to justify that to anybody. And guess what? Max, you can call me an anti-Semite. You can call me a white supremacist. You can go out and tell the entire world that. Matter of fact, you could call every media contact you have in your Rolodex and have them write an article about what I'm saying right now. Because that's the reality of a country. They have a people. No country is a proposition. Every country is a people. And that means that we deserve to be preserved. We have the right and the say over the direction of our country and our culture.
Any last words, Max?
that's insane. That's my last words.
Brother.
Okay. Mediocre and lazy Americans, they can't have control over their culture. Unbelievable. How dare somebody say such a thing?
It's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about.
So why don't we go? Let's
where
go.
People live here. Like
let's go with our Japan analogy.
Max,
but you're using an analogy. You're using an analogy that doesn't exist. America exists. America is a country full of immigrants. This is a reality. If Japan
it's not a country full of
suddenly
immigrants.
had an influx of 10
There's a
million,
lot of immigrants, brother.
There is, and they were let in against the will of the American people with
by
the
corporations,
Immigration
corporations,
Act.
by
Exactly.
Catholics, whites.
economic zone.
But these people live here. Like you're talking about probably over half the
Okay,
country. At
that's
this
fine.
point.
Well,
Even
why aren't you trying to defend our culture then if you love this country so much and came here and wanted to? Why
because I
are
think
you
it is
trying
a
to
culture
oppose
of
those
immigrants.
things?
You're
I do
calling him a
wanna-
traitor?
But it's not a culture of immigrants. Yeah,
There are
you know
things
what?
that I
In a
do
way,
wanna
in a way, I
defend.
would say that you are a traitor against American culture if you think that you have the right and the audacity to come in here and tell us that our culture, our way of life, our religion, all these things that we have adhered to from the very beginning are evil or wrong, and try to push the envelope away from those things.
I haven't said any of
That's
this. I haven't
Yes,
said
you
anything
have.
about
You have, though. Everything you've said. You've called me a white supremacist in this thing. You're calling me crazy and insane and ridiculous for saying I want control over my culture that
You're
my
saying it's like
ancestors
exclusive
built.
control of your
That my
of the culture.
ancestors built.
No, I think Ish's
Exclusive.
ancestors built the country.
You said what?
I think Ish's ancestors built the country. I mean,
Okay, how many skyscrapers in New York
but
were built
also
by
like,
black people?
how many
Black
generations?
people are
How many?
foundational.
How many? I'm not saying that blacks didn't have a role in America. In fact, in my analogy, I flat out said heritage blacks. If you weren't listening, I said that those people
Sir.
definitely played a
How
part.
many years? How many
But-
generations is enough? Like, I don't really understand your.
How many
Well,
generations is it to make
I'll
it
tell
to
you-
be American?
Yeah. Well, the answer
All
to
right.
that question is when you love this country enough to say that you don't want to make it like whatever thing your immigrant ancestors would have believed it should be. That's
Okay. So we walked into this bar, angry black man, a bigot Christian, and a wealthy Jew who made it out. Thank you guys for the show. Max, tell the people where they can reach you, brother.
You can follow me on Instagram at Maxwell Silverstein 2024. I thought we were cooling down. That's what I was hoping to cool down. Take a slow.
You know what?
Down.
Let's cool down then. I would really like for you to send me some of your stand-up. I want to laugh. It would be a lot of fun to watch. And I'm not gonna make fun of you or be mean to you over
He's
DMs
not gonna
or
troll.
anything. No trolling at all.
comments.
I would love to see your comedy.
Okay. All right.
You can
And
follow Maxwell Silverstein 2024 on Instagram.
which will soon be 2025.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, where
Well,
they can reach you?
guys, if you want to reach me, you can find me at Red Top Report on Rumble, on YouTube, on Twitter. You can follow me at JenderSii. That is genders2. That's right. My name is a hate fact. That's always fun. But let me tell you one thing. Always, 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 always keep the faith. Always, always, always keep the culture. It belongs to us. I love America. Make America great again, and America first.
America is a company, and the only color they see is green. And I'm your host. Be more, stay black.